Kraus, and I'm just going to show you the Math Expressions lesson plans. This is on the Math Expressions website, which I went over in previous videos, and this is going to look pretty much exactly as it will appear in the teacher manual that you have in the physical copies. The Gen Ed teachers are the only ones that have these manuals at this time. So if you are an ASR or PLS teacher and you are wanting to utilize these, then you will need to talk to them to kind of get access to that. So this is Unit 1, Lesson 1. The nice thing about this website is that it remembers where your last place was. And so if you were the only teacher who is using this login, when you on the previous screen hit teacher, whatever it says, teacher edition, it will bring you right up to that last page. The thing that kind of stinks about that is if you're sharing, it's going to bring you up to the last page of whoever was in here last. So it'll be important for you to understand and kind of utilize this contents area. So this is going to be everything that is in this teacher manual. And so we previously went through some of the front matter, and now we're going to take a look at Unit 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on Lesson 1, and that will bring me right up to where we're at. So looking at this lesson plan, we've got the math standards up at the top, and then it's going to have this little title here, discuss numbers 1 through 10. And then what we see is kind of the bulk and the meat of this lesson plan. We've got teaching the lesson, and that is going to be 2 different activities. On the right-hand side, you can see that we've got the quick practice. Again, that's not something that you have to do. It's just going to be kind of a warm-up activity. And then we have an explanation of kind of the daily routine. So these are going to be some of the things that you actually are going to need. And then we've got some vocabulary words that will be good for you to understand. So we also have 2 different areas in here. We've got this differentiated instruction area. This is actually something that in the ASR room I never used. Predominantly, this is online content, like games and things like that. And it's going to have just some additional resources. It is not, I've never seen it actually differentiate any of the instruction, okay? So it's not necessarily like, show one more and one less. Oh, here's some visuals to use, or, here's a different way to attempt that. This is actually just kind of more resources for you to use to reteach or assist students in understanding this, just so that you're kind of aware. We also have this section of the homework and the spiral review. This is something that I used a lot. So on this current one, we've got the home and school connection family letter. And I didn't use that one very much, but I did use the homework and remembering activities. So it's telling you that's in page 1 and 2. And these homework and remembering are going to be, I can't remember if I showed you in the last, no, I'm going to show you in the next video. Sorry. The homework and remembering are really great practice activities that are going to go over the same lesson content again in just a couple of different ways. So I'm going to go to the next page of the lesson. This is the actual lesson. It's what you're going to be teaching. Again, this says activity 1 is going to be 20 minutes. That is not necessarily what we are going to do with our students, of course. We have a little key for whether it's independent work, partner work, group work, or whole class. And you can see that that's kind of illustrated in these different little activities. So this whole page, it looks like, is activity 1. We've got some actual little script for you to say, what you're going to say to the students. The red or kind of pink colored are the student answers. It's showing you the manipulatives and kind of exactly what they want the students to be doing with those. We've got a few different little notes down on the bottom here, some vocabulary, and then kind of looking ahead. This is actually, I found this to be pretty interesting because it's going to kind of tell you specifically why, it's going to give you a little bit more information about why you're teaching what you're teaching. And that to me always helped me to understand how to elicit those responses from students. And then we have activity 2, which is 20 minutes, and you can see that this is also a whole class activity. So we've got 5 groups. We've got, some different vocabulary that we're going to be introducing. It's got a lot of nice visuals on it. So I do really like this curriculum for this, the way that they kind of lay out the lesson plans. I thought it was really beneficial. We also have a little section down here for English language learners as well, in case that's beneficial to you. So the next part of the activity is going to be the workbook, the student workbook. I'll show you that in the next video, what that will look like. And so it's got just kind of some ways to help your students work through that and what their answers should be. And then we're going to have a little section called Math Talk. Again, this is something when you are looking to modify this curriculum to meet your students' needs that we might just straight up omit, or we might change pretty drastically. Instead of asking the students, how can we help Puzzled Penguin find the right answer? We may not even use Puzzled Penguin because he seems kind of weird and my 3rd graders are not going to like him very much. So instead, we're just going to ask the students maybe a simplified version of, what is 5 and 1 more, and then they can use their Proloquo to answer that question. So this math talk might be a little bit different, but for our Gen Ed students, this is a pretty powerful way to help them really think about their thinking and have some of those metacognitive skills with their math. So again, we've got some good notes down here on the bottom. And then we've got the second page of the worksheet kind of explained here. The pink is going to be their answers. And then this is where it goes over that differentiated instruction. You can see that these are actual manipulatives, or this is like a little board game, I think, that they have. And so the general education teachers will have that. Their little resources. I never really used those, but that might be something worth looking into. And you can see these are small group and also independent. We've got some online activities. And then this is going to be the homework and remembering, which I will talk about in the next activity. The next video, sorry. I really liked these because, of course, as an ASR teacher, I was predominantly teaching this one lesson. So according to this, we've got 20 minutes for activity 2 and 20 minutes for activity 1. So that's 40 minutes of math instruction. That is not what we would do in my ASR room. We may have done this same activity right here for a couple of days for about 20 minutes each time, and then given some additional practice or, something along those lines. So I would a lot of times work through their workbook with them. And then I would send home these homework and remembering pages as homework. And I may send this same page home twice. I maybe would send it home on Monday, and then I would send it home on Thursday. And this page, actually, I really don't like this one. I don't like the handwriting thing that they do on here. But a similar one I maybe would send home on Tuesday, and then I would send home a different activity for Wednesday. Or bring in pieces from the previous lesson and kind of spread those throughout to keep kids progressing. So that is my brief little overview of the lesson plan and how I utilized some of these resources and sections in my ASR classroom. You can see we've got Unit 1, Lesson 2, and it looks very similar to that other lesson. So these elements are pretty much the same here. Just a different worksheet, a little bit different of activities, and it's got pretty much all the same components though. And if you guys have any questions about how to navigate this or need help kind of thinking about which of these activities would be helpful for your classroom, please reach out to the academic department. We are more than happy and also extremely excited to help you make any of these things fit in your room. All right, we'll talk to you soon.